What's up, you guys? It's your favorite parole attorney, Terry Henderson Peden of the Law Group of THP. This is Parole Attorney TV, and today I want to answer a real simple question for you guys. What is a parole attorney, and what can that person do for you? What should they be doing for you? What should you look for in a parole attorney before making a decision to hire or go about it without representation? So first and foremost, what's your options without it? I mean, not even to make this a really complex and thought out video, dude. Look, if you don't got an attorney in a parole hearing, basically, only thing they see is your file. Right now, currently, at the time of this video, I only operate in 2 states. In both of those states, the inmate can't be present at the hearing. So there could be a mistake in their file. They could have a mix-up. And you could have been voted on in this hearing or multiple hearings in the past based on erroneous information, based upon simply what your charge is on paper without greater context and insight into the actual facts of your case, circumstantial evidence about the inmate, his or herself, and just a host of other things that truly take it from being a scenario where, which is the standard, a parole board in a day could see hundreds of cases. Even if they see tens of cases, dozens of cases, there is still a great opportunity for who you are, who the inmate is, to be totally overlooked and for them to just be either assessed by what's on paper, if that's accurate, or based upon erroneous information. So again, you got 2 options. Do you want to go about it without representation or with representation? In my couple years of practice, man, I've heard some horror stories about these trial attorneys. So some people, by the time they get to prison, they be so over these dirtbag lawyers that it's like, man, forget it. I'll just go about it by myself, or my family ain't going to help us no more. But if anything, we take that at the Law Group of THP just as further motivation to make sure that we do everything within our power to kind of clean up the representation or reputation of attorneys and of lawyers. Some of us have given the industry a bad name. So for sure, you benefit from the representation of an attorney who does the following, which is prepare a bomb-ass representation for you. So what that looks like is, for one, getting in the board's face. So in the most immediate form and manner of presenting to the board, we do that, whether that be an in-person opportunity or if that's over the phone, but definitely more than just submitting a parole packet. That's cool, that's good, just to submit a packet, but it's always, we're humans, you know. Parole board and those people making those decisions are human. So we tend to respond better to people being in our face and talking to us, and we can read each other, body language and all that good stuff. So one, being in their face, knowing the facts of your case, knowing the facts of the case from multiple standpoints, you know, what was in the indictment to what was came down, you know, what was found to be true or beyond a reasonable doubt at trial, post-conviction, you name it, all the way through appeals level, to be able to pull those documents and put those things in front of the board to give them more context into truly what happened. To make sure you get credit for everything. So if a person has been in prison for 20 years, 25 years, one day, you've been in prison one day and you did a program, you deserve credit for that program. If you've done GED, you stayed out of trouble, you kept your disciplinary right, you know, they might have a problem with your ITP. They might have a problem saying that you haven't done this and you have done it, or saying that you're required to take this or excluded from that, or whatever it might be. But the attorney should go in there and make sure that we got you nice and glossed up. By the time we present you to the board, you shining. You know what I'm saying? So go in there again and fix anything that you might not be getting credit for. We're gonna make sure you do get that, because you deserve it. Next, we organize your family and your loved ones into a resource. So coming home and a part of the parole decision being made, if we put ourselves in the position of the board, they have a job to do, right? And I ain't mad at them if they're doing the job right. But I ain't mad at them in the sense of, look, guys in prison will tell you some of these fools don't need to be coming home, you know? And that's just a harsh reality. I ain't gonna sit here and kiss no tail or try to make something out of something that it ain't. So everybody's not ready to go home, right? Everybody's not deserving of the privilege of parole, right? But there are a lot of people who are, and before the board is willing to make that decision to release you to society, they need to know that you're not going to get out and be homeless. You're not going to get out and immediately become a burden to the state and to everybody on the outside, in the sense of you got a home, you got a job, you got mental health resources, physical health resources, you know, all of those things that maybe a person who's never been to prison kind of takes for granted as an adult in the world, you know. And a person comes home, if you don't have that support, the board is gonna assume you don't have the support. So for one, we need to figure out who those resources are for you, get them on the same page, get what we need from them, and then present that to the board to show, hey, this guy's or gal has done everything they're supposed to do, and they got a structured plan for X, Y, and Z to make parole and their supervision a lot more easier, their chances of success higher, and all of those good things. Yeah, so we're going to take all of those people and turn those people into resources. And resources, when activated, is power. I just made that up. That ain't no fancy quote, but I think it's the truth. What you think? I think so too. Okay, and then, so now we done got all this stuff together. We took all this information, we put it in a packet. I got to know you. My staff got to know you. You know, we're on the same page. We got you glossed up. You getting credit for everything is here, right? Now it's time to go show up and show out. So now we're pulling up to the parole hearing, organized, structured, rehearsed, prepared, and we make that presentation. That is depending upon whatever state you're in and how they procedurally handle parole hearings. But in general, you know, we're just going through who this person is, what they're here for, and the fact that they're deserving of this opportunity, and that this opportunity is not just a wish and a dream, but this is something that we've planned for, that we've prepared for. And all we need of you, parole board, is to make the decision. That's smart. We've given you all the reasons to let this person go into the world, you know, and act out this plan to throw themselves into that program of freedom. Within the representation, you know, it's two routes. A lot of times people operate under the misconception, and this is something that I'll probably do a video on later, so I won't harp on it now, but a lot of people, inmates and families alike, are under the impression of, well, they don't care what we got to say in terms of what actually happened, or it doesn't matter about this or that discrepancy or error of law or ineffective assistance of counsel or prosecutorial misconduct or judicial misconduct. And I gotta say that that's not true. That's not true. I actually, all praise due to God, won a case for a guy today who's had been in prison for 20 years straight, and he's actually freaking innocent. And I refuse to go in that hearing and tell them folks, this man is sorry for something that he didn't do. And what he was accused of and convicted of is one of the most heinous and egregious things that you could put on a man, period. But that being said, you can't just go in there like, say, a mom. Like, for example, you go in there without an attorney, and you might have your mom or your brother stand up and say, man, he didn't do it. That ain't gonna do nothing but piss him off, because you ain't got nothing behind it. So that's the job of the attorney. You know, I go to court behind civil rights stuff. I sue the government, so I'm coming for real. So I take that same mentality into these parole hearings, you know what I mean? And just in terms of a culture that we're creating over here and that we're continuing, we can't step halfway, because in many ways, the expectation and the stereotype of us is not good. So I like to always try to supersede the expectation, supersede what somebody else thinks that we're capable of, or the way that we do business, and shock them with pleasantly shock them. You know what I mean? So, you know, it's two routes. Either this person did what they did, they're sorry for it, we're ready to go forward. You know, it's a little context on it, but more or less the person is sorry and they've, you know, become better from this experience and now they're deserving. Or the person didn't do it, and then we got to show up. We got to come with a whole bunch of shit to show that this person is truly not guilty, but do it in a way that it doesn't disparage the parole board and the nature of that hearing, which is not post-conviction, but is merely about whether or not the privilege of parole is something that this person is ready for and makes sense for society as a whole. So with that said, man, you need a parole attorney for these hearings, dude. Don't fool yourself. It's a wise investment. Hit us up. Let us quote you on our rates, and just increase your chances. You know, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee you this, that, and the third. That's probably a red flag. If you're talking to an attorney and they're guaranteeing you this or that, or they're trying to tell you how great their percentage is, your percentage might be high, but what kind of cases you take? Okay, over here we take cases that we believe in. We take things that and things that, you know, I can stand on. I'm not gonna go here and degrade myself asking for this person's freedom when I don't believe in that for them in the first place. So representation matters, and choosing the right attorney matters. So who else you got talking to you about it, gaming you up about it with your boy TP? This is Attorney Terry Henderson Peden of the Law Group of THP, going live off that Parole Attorney TV. All my contact information is below. My office contact, writing contact, all of that. If this video is helpful, important to you, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. You already know what's up. You know, be blessed. Peace.